It's Friday, Choir Live, closing out the week here on a day of. It's like the weather's weird.
It's June gloom is
It's weird. It's a little hotter.
But when it burns off, Kristian, it fries your face.
That's right. Oh yeah, you are.
It looks good though.
It's like you're like half.
Look at that.
Yeah,
And you
half
look
tan,
good.
half lobster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My arm right now is strawberry ice cream straight to vanilla. Just missed the chocolate Neapolitan.
Oh, nice. Good for you. Josh McCouga, obviously back in studio.
Hey, buddy.
Dorina is here with us.
Hello,
Mark
buenos dias.
Riley and Cody Hall kicking it in the booth. Do we have Hey Alex today or no?
Nope.
No, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Well, you're going to have us for like 25 minutes, and then you're going to have me and Roxy talking to Seth Green for the rest of it.
Who was it?
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, was it not us?
No, it was us.
Yeah.
It was us?
Yeah.
Why do I think Roxy did it?
I don't know.
It was a Friday.
It was a Friday.
Well, there you go. So it was us. So we're gonna jump right back in there, and then you'll just see us kind of change shirts and interview Seth Green.
I have another shirt in there.
It's Seth Green.
Nothing like a good shirt change.
Yeah, but it's
Really gets your day going.
we were laughing about it before too, because McCouga's is kind of famous for this now, to where a guest will come in and he legit loves one of their movies. It just happens to be one of the more obscure movies that people have done.
Or like the ones that are the panned, like the critically panned movies are
Right.
not like well received.
And he's not messing with him. He legit likes them.
Likes, love.
That probably makes the people you talk to feel a little good though, because they're like, "Oh, everyone hated this movie, and you like it."
Sometimes because
maybe.
they think they don't know
Because
it's
they think
real.
I'm fucking with them.
Like McGee, by the way.
Oh.
McGee, when he was in here, Roxy and Josh love
This Means War.
This Means War. Like,
Right.
And he's like, really? And he's like, because he looked at him, he's like, are you guys like messing with me? But then he kind of leaned into it. But Josh came up to Seth Green before we started the interview, and he says, he's like, dude, I just want to let you know, I am like a huge Airborne fan. And Seth Green was like, all right.
He wasn't know if he was actually serious or not.
I don't think he gets that a lot.
Here's the best is though. So Kristian's sitting here, Roxy's already in, and I couldn't do the interview because I think I was going to do Sports Time.
Yeah.
And
What interview? The Seth Green
The
one?
Seth
It
Green
was
one.
Mark and I.
You're right.
Dorina and
God damn it,
me,
Josh.
You're right. That was you guys didn't
all right.
get the joke.
Just,
It's Friday.
So,
Hey, Dorina, remember when we interviewed Steven Spielberg? That
Hey,
was
Mark,
fun.
is anyone else here in the room, or is it just us? Because I think it's just
us.
How are you doing?
I'm doing
How's
fine.
your Friday? How's your week?
Great. There.
so
This
got
stupid
dizzy.
song has grown on me. I hate it.
oh, really? That's good to know.
So I look in the room and here's Kristian sitting there. And he's got this shit-eating grin on his face, like he's going to ask about Airborne. I know he's going to say something about Airborne because we've been talking about Airborne
forever.
for 6 years.
We at one point, I think, on the Schmodown,
Yeah, you messed with me.
we said, and the next category is from Airborne, and I was like season 1.
Yeah,
You
I
your
lost my mind.
It was really
Did you
good.
like stand up and dance for a minute?
Totally.
He's so cool. By the way. I met I think some of us have met him before, but it was still a really good interview. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, he was cool, and the movie
Awesome,
was cool
great.
too. And
Yeah.
I like what he
was
did.
great.
I like what he did with the movie because it's a small budget movie. But
What's it called again?
Riley?
Changeland.
I always say Changeland, but it's Changeland.
Beautiful looking movie
It's
set
cool.
in Thailand.
Yeah. It was.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
Now I remember that you definitely were here because we watched it together in the studio.
Yeah, we did.
See?
We literally
I
watched the
remember
movie
that.
before the interview.
I remembered that.
Just now.
Yeah.
Good job, Kristian.
Thank you so much.
Wasn't that a fun interview, Dorina?
I
know.
thought it
Just
was.
me and
Just
you
you and
and
I
Seth
and
and-
Seth. It was so good. Kristian wasn't there.
Nobody.
Josh wasn't
You're
just
still
Josh.
coughing,
Never
huh?
asked about Airborne.
I finished my antibiotic today, so
Okay.
that's I don't know.
That's a positive.
Yeah, I got it. Well, it's positive. My mother was testing me today. She's like, if it's not feeling better today, you better go see your physician.
Oh, jeez.
So I got to.
I love that parents don't call them physicians.
Your
Yeah.
physician.
Well, yeah, it's because of. I mean, I had it since like Chicago.
Yeah.
And finally
Jeez.
went like 2 weeks ago, whatever, and just got pumped up on those meds for like.
I got a cough in
2 weeks
Chicago too, and seriously just kicked it like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, it was weird.
Damn.
Yeah, it was even.
crazy.
So I did something really stupid last night too. Might as
That's
well while we're on
odd.
that. I know. Well, it seems to be a trend.
You saw the thing.
But no, I was at dinner with a friend, and right before I left, I took the antibiotic. It was probably like 4. Had dinner at 6. 6:15. Got home around
hanger monster.
No, not at all. 7:45. Get home, and I take the antibiotic. My wife goes, "What are you doing? You just took that like 3 hours ago." She said, "You can't take 2 antibiotics back to back. That's not good."
Really?
Really?
No,
Why
like
not?
to slam them down like.
It's a dude move, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, because
I'm
the
like,
big-
got to all put
she
it
ma-
in there at some
She
point.
made me throw. I threw up. I
What?
threw up all of them. I threw it
Did
up.
you?
I threw it up. I
Like
was
on purpose or
yeah?
because
I was
it-
like, I didn't know it because look, my
You're
head's been
gonna
all
take that
fucked
thing
up.
again?
I took it this morning. Yeah,
So you threw it up,
Yeah.
and the same antibiotic you swallowed this morning.
No.
Okay, I was gonna
no,
say,
no,
that's
it was
fucking gross.
It was mush, and she's like, "Are you sure it came up?" I was like, "I can taste it." It was bad. It's real,
Well,
real bad.
it's good to know it's working.
It's not working at all.
Now you know you have to keep those down for
How's
those
the
antibiotics
antibiotic
to work.
I know.
I'm fine.
Bodies are so stupid.
What's that? What is?
Bodies
That-
are
I know.
bodies. It's
That
so
sound
dumb.
effect actually made me gag.
Did he make you get sick?
Well,
Yeah, well,
me.
you should.
No, not
Trust
you.
me.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah. I
the
can't
sound effect.
stand
Because
puke.
Yeah.
did you
No.
hear it? It
Ugh.
was the puke and then it hitting the ground, and it literally made me go.
Well, you shouldn't have been in
Nope.
my house last night. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Did you make yourself puke? Like, did you put the finger?
I
like,
did that.
what did you do?
Yeah.
The old LA diet.
Yeah, I know. It's true. I did. I know. But
Can't.
it was to.
That was a USC diet.
Yeah.
when I
You know what
there.
it was? The only reason I did it though.
It was.
Yeah, the only reason I did it because the stuff it makes my head like press anyway. Like it's all heavy. But like I did 2 of them and I felt like woo, and I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll listen to my wife on this one. And it was fine. I went to sleep.
Oh my god.
Like 8:30, I went to sleep.
I'd rather have diarrhea than vomit. That's
Yeah.
so gross.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Same.
Oh, there's a cleansing feeling of
Yeah.
pooping like that.
Wasn't good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
You're like a
Nature's way,
chef's kiss.
actually.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's when when they were like, "Oh, what was your colonoscopy like?" It was glorious. They give you this drink, your whole body is just cleared out. You walk. I mean, like you've never felt thinner in your life. You feel like so cleansed. It's incredible.
What age do you have to do that?
Glorious.
I just got one because my brother has cancer, and he has stomach cancer, so I had to go
So
get
you
a
did it
colonoscopy.
because of your brother,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
because.
it's
of...
fine.
But insurance usually covers it at age 40.
40. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Good to know. Can't wait for
Time
like
for another
butt
for me,
cleanse.
so.
Yeah, here it comes,
Ingredients.
baby.
While you're at the physician, make sure to get a colonoscopy.
Make sure they shove a little rod all the way up there and pull it right out.
There was a there was news. What was it?
Perfect,
The
yes.
something I saw pretty big yesterday that dropped. Shoot, do you have it on your? Do you not have it on there? Something pretty big, but for some reason it's not in the notes.
D23 Expo?
Warner Brothers is not going to be at Comic Con? Or was that too
No,
late?
that was yesterday.
Is that it?
No, I don't know where it went.
What
It
was it
pretty
related
big.
to?
I can't remember, but I said, "Oh, that'll surely be on the notes." It's not.
I didn't see it. It's not
don't know.
obviously not very big if we can't remember.
I don't know.
I think the news was all the Starks died at the Red Wedding. Amanda and I are rewatching
Spoilers.
Game of Thrones. Amanda's never seen. She started in that
Oh.
season 5, right?
She started. It's like Sadie. Sadie watched
Yeah.
season 1 and then finished the last season.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amanda started watching when we started dating because it was Sunday and people were talking about it. So we started watching, and now she's addicted. And
Okay.
she is living for it. And so we just got to we saw the Red Wedding, and then we just got to Joffrey's wedding when he dies. Right.
She loses her mind.
Oh my God! She was like, "Who did it? Who did it?" And I was like, "Well, think about the who has the motivation." She's like, the Red Viper." I was like, "No," and she's like, "Tyrion." I was like, "No, Tyrion didn't kill him." She's like, "The Tyrells," and I was like, "No, not the Tyrells." And she goes, "Littlefinger?" And I'm like, it was Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Because she can't. Amanda's the kind of person that starts watching the show. If she likes it, she reads ahead and learns all the spoilers and then watches the show.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. She just can't take surprises. She does. She loves to know spoilers.
Right.
She read all the spoilers for Endgame. Has still never seen the movie.
Is she one of those people that doesn't like surprises in general,
Yes.
like me, where it's like you can't throw me a surprise birthday
No, no,
party
no.
or I'll be pissed?
I threw her one, and we got in the car afterwards, and she's
Shit,
like,
I
"That's
gotta
your,
make a call.
that's your one,
Yeah.
that's your one." Because we had just started dating, and she was like, "That's your one."
She didn't like
no more.
surprise party.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah. Interesting.
I'm better at it, but I think it's a control freak thing.
Is it?
Yeah, because I don't like
Yeah.
not knowing what's going to happen, except in movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I can-
in life, I don't like to be spoiled.
I remember what it
Or I
was.
like to be spoiled.
You got
What?
it.
Big story, actually. I'm pretty shocked. So Nathan Drake from Uncharted, they something with Tom Holland.
That's right
Oh,
here.
right.
Oh, you do. So you do
Yeah,
have
Tom
it.
Holland's Uncharted movie to open against Steven Spielberg's West Side
So
Story.
you had it? No.
Wow.
Oh yeah. The release
Yeah.
date. Yeah.
Yeah, the
okay.
release
So,
date.
so we
Flip
had
over
it.
your
Yeah.
paper.
I just didn't think
That's
that
where
was
the other
huge
notes are.
news.
Well, because they had the prequel side of it, and they had pictures of them, and I started thinking about it because I think it's the last Uncharted game. They actually go back in time
Yeah.
and show it,
Yep.
and because I know everybody at first was like, "Does Tom Holland fit that role?" But as young Nathan Drake, he definitely does.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
It makes sense too with E3 being all this week. Is
Yeah.
that they launch like a movie, video game movie kind of a situation.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Who's going? I'm going this
Are you?
week. Yeah, I always
I've
go.
never been.
Not me.
It's
My-
pretty good. I went once, I think 2 years ago, and I had a lot of fun. We don't cover it as
Yeah,
much. So.
It's so fun.
When
Yeah,
my brother's
it's
here,
fun.
he's not here this year. But when he's here, because he works for EA, I'll go to like an EA party because
Right.
Is Fallen Order EA?
I don't know.
I don't think it is, right?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. They did like a big EA Play thing yesterday that was pretty big on.
Fallen Order is going to be, you know that they're going to do something there for sure.
I think because
What
on
is
the
Fallen
weekend,
Order?
It's a Star Wars game.
Then it's EA.
Are you sure?
It's EA.
It is EA. Okay, well there you go. So we'll definitely be pressing on you to get copies of that.
Yeah.
Can I get one? Yeah. Can I have one now?
Yeah.
Codes.
Well, on
and
the
codes.
weekend, I think they actually have like a fan day for each game, so they can go play. Like the fans can go play the game all day. And test it. So
I have
they'll
a
do
question
that.
for the table, and we all know this person. You probably not as well as everybody else at the table, but if you were to say of anybody that we know that are our friends that have been on this show before, who do you think the person that always reaches out to me for video game codes is to ask my brother for?
Jeremy Jones.
My name is John Paul Jones.
No, but his name does start with a J.
JT.
Correct.
Oh, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
your brother, get that. Absolutely. He and Ken. Yeah, it's great.
That's good. JT's a gamer.
Oh, he is.
He's
Yeah.
a gamer for sure.
So you got any more of those EA codes?
Makes sense. Anyway, so there's Comic-Con, by the way. I'm very curious how it's going to go down this year.
Well, because Warner Brothers said no. I
Well,
missed
not
that
Warner
yesterday.
Brothers, DC.
DC.
said no. Warner
DC
Brothers is
said
going to be
no.
there because it's going to be there, which maybe you should cover that for this show.
Hmm.
The panel.
Yes.
Because imagine him in Hall H doing it.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Do it.
You know what I got to do? You know what I need to do?
What's that?
Go up and ask a question on the thing.
100%.
And maybe we get some sound bites, and I'll be like, hey, just want you guys to know this is what I sound like when I'm at it, and I'd like to apologize to all the people in the crowd before I go.
I'm
and see
down.
it.
Yeah.
I'm down. I think the
Okay.
people would probably like that
Let's
too.
do it.
You should ask how scary it is
Yes.
to the director when Muschietta's
Hello.
up there.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
and I'm usually at a 9 during like just Conjuring commercials.
Yes.
How do you feel that I would do?
Yes, because the only other time that I've gone up to ask a question was Ruth Nega's Rutabagas.
Oh, that's
You
true.
absolutely did do
That
that.
was so fucking rad.
So the story goes like this: is I was sitting in Hall H all day because that Saturday was all TV stuff, right? And we knew that I had to get in there early because the Marvel TV was the last one, and we knew that they were probably going to show a full episode of the Defenders, right? So we needed to cover it. But they also were showing like all kinds of TV stuff, and Preacher was one of the ones that day. And I stopped watching Preacher basically like middle of season 2. It kind of lost it
Did
for
you
me.
read the
and
comic book?
No.
It's really
I've
good.
heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but I had this joke that we were talking about in the writer's room forever, and it was just a sketch called Ruth Nega's Rutabagas, and she owned an organic rutabaga farm. And it was like, this is the dumbest idea of all time. So,
Dumb, meaning
she
brilliant.
gets up
This is
there.
why Mark liked it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
I mean,
it's-
I'm always making
Stupid
puns
dad
or
jokes, I
something,
know.
rhymes, stupid, whatever.
I know.
So I'm sitting there, and they start the Preacher panel, and I was like, ding! I got to go up there and ask a question, right? So I'm sitting next to Emma Fife. She and I were the only ones in there all effing day. Like, we were sleeping on each other at one point, not with each other, on each other. And so I was like, hey, you need to videotape me going up to ask the question of Ruth Nega's Rutabagas.
She did.
Yeah. So I walk up there, and I was like, hey, my name's Josh McCouga. The crowd like cheered, and Seth Green was like, oh, crowd favorite. As I'm asking the question, Mark Ellis walks in, right? And he doesn't know what's happening. He said he turned the screen. He's like, what the fuck? And I was like, you can watch the video. It's online somewhere. But I was like, hey, I was wondering if Ruth Nega would be interested in starting Ruth Nega's Rutabagas. It's an organic rutabaga farm. I could be your farmer, and we could start it together. And she's like, what is a rutabaga? I was like, it's kind of like a turnip. And they all started arguing about what a turnip and a rutabaga was. And then they were like, it's going to be a no on Ruth Nega's Rutabagas. Hey, no problem.
It was funny, though.
It's probably my
Well,
greatest
I really
Comic-Con
hope-
moment next to dying next to Michael Giacchino.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But
Same Comic-Con, by the way.
Was it?
Was it the same year?
Same
The
Comic-Con.
Blade Runner year?
Yeah.
Well, you should do that for It Chapter 2, and
Sure.
then I hope somebody dressed as Pennywise shows
Yeah.
up.
Oh, that's really
and
good.
freaks you out.
I hope they do something like they did for that Blade Runner experience.
I
That was
know,
so
that
cool.
was
That's the
the
kind of
coolest.
stuff. I mean, very similar. No, but not,
It
not,
was
not,
cool.
not
It
giving
was
you,
pretty
not,
cool.
not trying to kill you with nuts and
Not
stuff.
with peanuts.
But no, when you went in there, like everybody was in character, and it
Yes.
seemed like you were there, and it was just.
It made you feel like you're in the world
Yeah, and I
of
think
like, I guess they would be 2049 LA.
Yeah.
I think of like all the parties that I've ever been to at Comic-Con, that probably was like the best themed one
Yes.
I've been to.
They had cops coming up
Oh,
and
it's awesome.
scanning people to see if they were.
I was a
replicants.
replicant.
Yeah, of course
Obviously.
you were. But
The entrance was that like VR. You're in the thing, and then they open up the thing, and you're there.
And the music,
Yeah.
the food, everything was great. But
and
I
it
think
was a
they're
high-end
doing that.
bar, too.
That's where I think Comic-Con is more successful, when they have all of these activation experiences.
Totally,
Because
yeah.
they did. I went to a few last year. Like they had the Good Place one, and they did have actors
Right.
like telling you that you just died. And it was really. I hope they
Yeah.
do more of that.
It's really
this
cool.
year.
It's committed. The only thing, I mean, like Alcon put that together, and it was expensive. I mean, for sure. I mean, it looked really cool. And
That might have been more on the budget than 2049.
And maybe how much it actually made.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it was like, because
Yeah.
24, I mean, made a lot of. I mean,
Did it?
not made a lot. Cost a lot.
Cost. That's what I mean. Yeah.
But it definitely didn't make up what it needed to, and they marketed the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, I mean, they even it was sponsored by Johnny Walker. Like,
Everything.
they had all of
Bullet-
this like
they had
Scotch
Bullet bourbon
tasting.
behind
Yeah,
it.
I think people, if there was a way for a lot of people to experience that particular thing, that was just so cool.
they should just have that in like a tour
I
around
know.
the world.
I didn't wanna
just
leave.
have different activations. I
Yeah.
wanted to stay
I
there
wanted
the
to
whole
stay
time.
there the whole night. It was true.
Yeah.
So did I, but
But you
I
had to.
unfortunately had to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they knew I wasn't a replicant,
Where did
because
you go
replicants
after
aren't
that, by the
allergic
way?
to. I went to that to the Hard Rock. Because a bunch of people, because I left and I couldn't come back in.
Right.
And then I went to the Hard Rock, and that's where Riley, you had that like horror movie, and I threw it off the
Yeah,
deck.
that's
No,
when
but
I had some.
how did you recover?
I had a bunch of Benadryl and like 30 whiskeys.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is
sense.
like, so when I had my
should've
worst
done
one
that last night.
The worst one I ever had was when I was living in New York. I was at this birthday party, and I thought it was just a vanilla cake, but it was a vanilla poppy seed cake. There was
Oh,
like
that'll
poppy
do it.
seeds in the batter.
Yeah.
And so I'm just at the party. My buddy's like, "You don't look so good." I was like, "I gotta go to the hospital." And so I go to the hospital, and the woman's like, "First of all, you're a little too drunk."
Yeah.
It's like shocker. But she's like, if anything helps, it's the fact that you are drunk, because your blood thins and
Oh.
it goes through.
Well, there you
and
go.
so you're like, because your arteries clog, and then it stops your blood, stops you from breathing.
Oh,
It's not
Jeez.
scary at all.
man.
Still
When
no
did you-
reason to
when
throw
did
my
you find-
DVDs.
When did you find out that you had?
I was like
your first one?
I was like a year and a half old,
Okay.
and my grandma used to make homemade cinnamon buns.
Right.
Great grandma used to make homemade cinnamon buns with walnuts on them.
Yeah.
My mom was feeding them to me, and she was like, all of a sudden, you went from the happiest kid in the world to screaming.
'Cause something
and,
was going
and
on.
I couldn't breathe. My face blew up, and they rushed me to the hospital.
Maybe
Doctor
you were
like,
scared.
Allergic to nuts.
Yeah.
Just scared that I couldn't catch my breath.
Good that they found that out.
Christian's antibiotics.
Yeah, I know. It's good that they found that out quick.
Oh yeah. Well, nowadays apparently is like within 3 and 4 months. Once you start leave breast milk, and Cody probably knows this. Once you leave breast milk and go to actual food, they do an allergy test on the baby like
Right.
immediately. So
Cody, did you know that?
I do now.
That's good. Okay, what kind of prep work you doing, Cody? Any at all?
Google's a great thing.
Google's
Yeah.
a great thing.
Learn some things there.
Yeah.
Reading some flyers at the hospital. It's nice.
What have you, Cody? What have you learned about parenting
Yeah.
so far?
That it's gonna be a shit show. That's what I'm looking for.
A
Literally.
lovely shit show.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be a lovely shit show. It'll be the best feeling in the world, and then you'll be exhausted for the rest of your life.
We were at this kid's birthday party like 3 weeks ago. My friend from high school who lives out here, and we saw like all of her friends. They all have basically one kid, and then all the other parents are pregnant. They all like got pregnant at the same time. One of those things. And this woman looked at Amanda. She's like, "Are you pregnant?" And she's like, "No." And Amanda's like, "She's like, good. Hold on."
Oh my god!
Like this woman looked at Amanda with those terror eyes, like,
Right.
"Run, just run."
Yeah, it just depends. It depends. I mean, but like I said, I showed you guys a video before we
Yeah.
started the show. Like those are the moments that it's just
Totally.
like it's
Yeah.
so great. Like because the kids are. I mean, they're fantastic. But it's you
Hard work.
They're cute and also terrifying.
Well, yes, because even last night, like my youngest finally, I told you guys how she wasn't sleeping for. She finally slept through the night the other night. What happens? Gets a runny nose last night, right? Up the whole night. I'm like holding her, and my wife is like, we're just trying to go back and forth with kind of passing her around. And it's thank God I passed out at 8 o'clock because I had a head start.
Yeah.
I had at least 3-4 hours before she started waking up. But it's just
Waking
part
at
of the.
shifts. Did you teach her how to
part
blow
of the
snot
game.
rockets yet?
No, she's not. No, she finally at this point she's almost 2. So finally at this point she's allowing us to wipe her nose. She
yeah.
knows it annoys her now.
Right.
Before she just didn't like hands
touch
on
it.
your nose. It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
ah! Now it's like, all right, wipe my nose. Now, ah!
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's good luck, Cody.
Have fun.
Have a blast.
That's a burn.
Yeah, you're not gonna have twins yet, are you?
No, thank God.
Okay, yeah, because at least you can find that out. That's the kind of surprise. My mom got that. My mom
Could you
got that.
imagine not knowing?
Here's
That was what? It's like
Are
oh,
you
by
a
the way,
twin?
no, my youngest. Well, my brothers were twins.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
My buddy from high school. I think I told you this story. My buddy from high school. His wife goes to the doctor, and he's like, "Congratulations, you're pregnant," and it's twins. And she was like, "Oh my god!" Goes back 2 months later for a checkup. triplets.
There's a video out there about
that birth.
Yeah,
Ugh.
there's a video out there about some guy
Sorry,
who's talking
it's
to
terrifying.
his wife, and she's telling him something. She's like, I forget how she's doing it, but like giving like kind of signals or just kind of quizzing him or whatever. And he finally guesses, and she's like, wait, we're pregnant? One, two. He's like, we're having triplets, and you can't tell if the guy's like legit like. He
About
looks
to
like
faint.
he's thrilled, but inside it, I'm like, is he really grasping what's happening here? So you're gonna have 3 kids pretty soon, man. It's like, I hope you got help.
I didn't even start doing the math. Like he's like, we're about triplets. Like, that's tough. And then Amanda gets in the car and she goes, if we have triplets, we're not living here anymore. I was like, yeah, that pretty much makes sense.
Yeah.
And she goes, think about it, 3 car seats, 3 that. I was like, oh god. I
Oh,
started
yeah.
doing the math in my
Nope.
head. And he already had a daughter that was under 2 years old, so he had
Yeah,
4
no.
under 2, and like that.
Yeah,
No.
it's a thing.
Nope.
It's a
Um,
thing.
Right.
Julie wants that.
Why are
she
you
wants
guys
twins. Do you know
terrifying
that?
me?
I don't know why. She keeps saying
wants
she's
twins?
like she's like it would be great if we had twins. Just get out of the way. I'm like, no,
no.
it wouldn't.
She
She's
is-
like, and twins come in our family, and it's
Oh,
and I'm like,
shit.
you're okay. So I'm saying it right now.
Jinx it.
Yeah.
Jinx
I'm-
it.
She's been jinxing it.
Yeah.
She's already been saying it, and I'm like, just calm down on the
Yeah,
twin
no,
stuff.
you're gonna
You're
shoot, man.
so
You're already
gonna have twins.
starting a little
I'm
late.
old-
You're gonna
I'm
be
an old man.
You're gonna be exhausted with twins.
If
I'll tell you
twins come,
you're out.
I'm gonna jump off a bridge.
Nice.
I'm gonna jump off
I know
a
you
bridge.
so well though too. You're just such a lovable dude that you'll. I mean, I can
That'll
see
be
you're,
fine.
you're that lovely head of hair that we love so much is
Will
gone.
fall out.
Oh, it's gone. It's out.
go
You're gonna,
straight
you're gonna turn into a poof.
No, it'll be like this. Congratulations, Riley. It's twins. And it's going to go,
You're a Christmas tree in February.
yeah, Christmas tree in February. It's like, Riley, what happened to your hair?
Do you think your
Twins.
twins would come out of the womb with claws?
Maybe that's how they get out.
They'd come out with, yeah.
It's the Stannis.
It's great.
It's the Stannis Baratheon.
Hey, that's my
smoke
future
ring.
wife.
That's
there.
why the vagina rips. That's
Yeah,
horrible.
we just had 2 wolves.
Yeah.
Here's Wolvie and here's Reen.
With my hair, my nails, and Julie's hair and nails, yeah. 2 wolves, not far off.
Yeah, there you go.
Not far off.
All right, congratulations,
Thank
everybody.
you.
The twin.
But anyway, so we jump back into Tom Holland. We said that already. Tom Holland is going to be Nathan Drake. That's awesome. They're going up against West Side Story.
Yeah,
that's
they
an
have.
interesting shot. Is it 2021? Is that what it is, or 2020?
It's 2021, I'm
Okay.
going to say. Hold on, let me
Let
find
me
it.
just start shooting next year.
Do we know who's in West Side Story? Is it like a Vanessa Hudgens?
Yeah, they did. They did
Oh,
announce.
yeah,
We
it's
talked
not-
about
Taron Egerton.
It's why don't they ever hire Broadway singers for these? No, it's
Hey,
not Taron
draw.
Egerton. It's Ansel.
Ansel
Ansel
Elgort.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Draw.
They should hang her. I know, but
All the background people are Broadway actors for sure, but they're not
I
going
think
to
there
play.
were some
They
other
should.
people they hired though that
Yes.
were actually
The
pretty big musical people.
The Maria is an unknown that was a musical theater
Yeah.
person.
What,
Yeah.
what's her name? Do you know?
Maria.
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 And then they said J.J. Abrams might be bringing back Bad Robot to either Warner Brothers or Apple.
Yeah, they've been.
What's the report? I know he's been
big
negotiating for a long time.
Been negotiating for a very long time. Yeah, exactly. And I believe it's down to a bidding war between Warner's and Apple.
Interesting.
Which I find interesting that Apple is in there.
Well, not necessarily. Think about, because you think all the TV and stuff that he produces and all the
yeah.
movies that he produces, that Apple is trying to make a big push on their streaming stuff. So it makes sense that they're going to try to go after him.
Yeah, that'd be a huge get for Apple
It
for
would
sure.
be huge. I mean, they'll probably have to give him the world, obviously, because that'll be like it's like what Cobra Kai is for YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Did you see the trailer for? It's not called First Man. It's
the
Ad
Brad Pitt
Astra?
one.
yeah, no, not at Astra. It's a TV series coming on Apple Plus. It's a reverse space race, and it's Joel Kinnaman, and it's if the Russians got to the moon first, and then the space
it's the
race
other
never
what ifs.
ended.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's
The
it
other-
called? Do you know?
We talked about it on TV Talk. It's like the title of this week's TV Talk.
There's another one that I'm really interested in, especially after I've seen a little bit more of it. Is The Boys on Amazon? It looks awesome. It's like the anti-heroes, but it's like it's so up your alley.
Okay.
It is so up your alley. It is.
What's it about?
Violence, sex, just like pure like craziness, gore.
Okay.
And it's a show about these superheroes that just don't want to be superheroes.
Okay.
It's Carl Urban,
I like him.
Elizabeth Shue.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's
Good cast.
it's a great. Have you seen anything yet on this?
Which one?
The Boys?
No.
On Amazon?
Oh wait, yeah, it's
Dude, it looks great.
Violent Carl
It
Urban.
looks
Oh man,
great.
awesome.
And, yeah, Carl Urban's like the leader of the crew, and it's just a crazy.
Is it based on
I think
book or something?
I think so. I don't.
Good Omens.
I don't
Good
know.
Omens is. I watched the pilot. It wasn't
Did you
for
not
me.
like it?
It wasn't for me.
No.
Yeah.
But I think,
Do you think I'll
For
like
All Mankind is what the show's called. For All Mankind.
Oh.
Yeah.
but no, The Boys comes out. I think right after Comic-Con. So
Yeah,
they're
they're
going to
gonna
probably
be
do a
huge.
huge push
Yeah.
there.
I
for
wonder
sure.
if that's going to be bigger now at Comic-Con as TV over movies.
Seems
because
like it.
It's been
Maybe
trending there.
with streaming and stuff too.
Yeah.
I think that it's that's probably going to be the way that it goes when you think about how films, the marketing for it doesn't really pay off as much, right? To where Comic-Con has served television very well. You just go back to, I remember the first one I was ever at was Lost was getting a big push.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
It just brings awareness to, and it's a
Even
lot.
like shows that aren't per se nerd, like I don't want to say,
doesn't-
but like
yeah.
superhero shows, that kind of stuff. They
Genre
do all,
shows.
yeah, genre.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of stuff.
That's what I was saying earlier about we were talking about activations. That's
Yeah.
all. Like last year, I did The Good Place, which is not technically a nerd show. It's a great
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
on NBC, right? But like they also had all these FX shows, like
Yeah.
Legion. Like it was so fun.
Yeah.
They
Did
should do more.
Did you happen to watch When They See Us, the Ava DuVernay?
Not yet. I watched the first like 10 minutes of it and I thought it was fantastic.
It's
Did you
one
watch
of
the
the
whole
best-
thing?
it's one of the best things Netflix
Yeah, I gotta
has
watch
done.
it. I gotta watch
Just
it.
finished the second episode.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Highly-
I'm probably gonna watch it this weekend.
highly
All
recommend.
right,
We're gonna
listen.
finish tonight.
We're gonna finish right now because
Yeah.
we're gonna throw to Seth Green. Obviously, you guys know who Seth Green is, and we talked to him about his movie, about how he cast it, about how he shot it, about other things that he was working on. Just in general, man, it was a good chat with myself and Dorina and
I was
Riley.
going to say you, Roxy, me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's true. And Ken came in and did a whole wrap up. That's not true. So, all
He
right,
did the news.
guys. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and enjoy the interview with Seth Green, and we'll catch you on Monday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us in studio today, I'm so excited to talk to this guy. We have so many mutual friends, but we never really had a full-on conversation together.
Just scattered conversations in
Scattered.
stairwells.
Stairwell. That's the truth. That's the truth. Seth Green is here, and we're so excited to have you, brother. We have so many mutual things that we love: Star Wars junkies and wrestling fans. And now you're making movies. This is your first feature film.
That's true.
That you're doing, and let's hear all. We just watched it. This thing is gorgeous.
Oh, thanks.
How did you make it look so good?
We just aimed cameras at Thailand.
No,
That's all you need to do.
Right.
It really
It's
is the
gorgeous
truth.
there.
It is.
Everywhere you look is something epic, and I just tried to capture it and make it feel like the characters were organically integrated into
Yeah,
it.
the movie's called Changeland, and it stars Seth Green, who wrote it, directed, and Breckenmeyer. You guys have been buddies forever.
Yeah, we met when we were 16.
Crazy. Which on a film or?
No, we were both just auditioning for all the same stuff. And,
Yeah.
And then he was dating somebody I went to school with, and he showed up at a Halloween party I had, and I was like, I think I like this guy.
Yeah.
what were your costumes? Do you remember?
I don't remember what I was dressed as, but I remember him, and this was exactly why I liked him. He showed up. It was the same year that Paul Rubens had been arrested, so he had a store-bought Pee Wee Herman costume, and he was in handcuffs. And I was like, this kid is probably this
makes sense.
kinship here.
Yeah. You guys have had a really great relationship for a long time, and it carries over into the film because you're coming off of this. It's in the trailer, so there's stuff going on with your wife.
Yeah.
And so you and your buddy go to Thailand. You're supposed to be going with your wife.
Yeah.
And then this adventure happens between the two of you. And I tell you, I was just saying to Riley, I'll tell you one of the things I liked about this is it doesn't fall into the tropes of things that I thought would happen in stories like this.
Oh, good.
Something happens in the beginning where you guys are having a conversation. It's a little thing like, hey, you weren't really there for me as a friend. Then it's over. You guys are just buddies, and he's there to support you. And this craziness, and I liked that about it. I thought it was fresh.
Oh, thanks.
So when you're writing this movie, first of all, where's it come from? Because you're a happily married man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just invention for the sake of covering the kind of topics that I wanted to in a movie. I had taken a trip to Thailand with my friend Dan, and everywhere we went, we were mistook for a honeymooning couple because every place that we were was typically reserved for honeymooning couples, and so people were going out of their way to treat us nice, put together special dinners, and covering our beds with rose petals. And everything was very romantic, and we just leaned into it. By the end of it, it was so silly. And all the stuff that happens in the movie, aside from the emotional stuff, is stuff that we did. The kayaking, the sea caves, James Bond Island, the bar that has a Muay Thai ring in the middle of it. All these characters that we met, they were just sort of on the trip with us. And then I wrote it almost Wizard of Oz style, where the same people that are working on the field and living in your periphery, that those are all the characters in the film.
Right. And so one of the other great not surprises again because it pops up in the trailer, but another guy you've been friends with for a while is Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
And so when he pops into the movie to be seen, I think he's underrated when it comes to comedy, man, because there's certain lines that he hits in this movie. The two of us, Doreen and I, were watching it, and he's one particular line, and she turns, she's like, he's so awesome because his timing is so good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a brilliant actor. He's been trained as an entertainment weapon from the time he was an infant, and so you can just sort of apply him to any area, and he's going to give you the goods. But Mac also doesn't prioritize the maintenance of any of that stuff. But as a friend of his, I wrote the part for him because I know what he'll do on film, and as a director, all of these topics that we cover, all these areas that we discuss in the movie, I wanted that to be as simple and as easy as possible. And to that end, he's a great representative.
Yeah, and so let me ask you: there's got to be something refreshing about having your friends in, having your wife in the movie, but there's got to be also something that's stressful about that too, because it's a matter of does it ever become, because you guys are so close, sometimes people give them too many notes, or they let you just kind of do your thing.
Well, where it's dangerous is if anything sucks, I'm wholly to blame for it, and then I've sabotaged all of these relationships just by accidentally mistreating the people. But where it's a benefit is that I know all of these people and they know me, and so we all make movies for a living. This is what we do, and so the opportunity for us to get to do it together was really exciting, and the opportunity to do it our way or do it the way that it most needs, that was very exciting. And so I did everything I could to stack the deck in my favor by writing parts for performers who I knew would really be able to execute it exactly as I needed.
Well, you give yourself a good, and this is a good thing. You give yourself a nice cushion because, like you said, you know, you're comfortable. It's your first feature film. You want to make sure that it's your script, it's your vision. You want to make sure that they can execute it because you've been with these people for so long.
Well, and also we're making it on the cheap, and so I need everyone to have the right attitude and also be well prepared so that we can accomplish it in the limited time that we had.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously there was the trust there, right? Where you're like, okay, if I mess up, at least these people love me as a family, and hopefully I won't.
Yeah, well, but also I could depend on every one of them to say, hey, you're right in the middle of messing up, and here is how we fix it.
Yeah.
So can you talk about just directing, because this is your first big feature film. This is the first movie that you've made,
it's the first long-form live-action narrative I've ever attempted to make.
Can you talk about your experience as an actor just back in the day, whether it was something big like Buffy, or moving into something like Robot Chicken? What experiences taught you as an actor back in the day, or this very successful show that you used in this movie?
Well, as an actor, I've spent the last over 30 years working with all kinds of people, both first-timers and deeply experienced people, and I pay a ton of attention. And more than 20 years ago, I started shadowing producers and just sort of watching how the process worked and what is or is not important. And you just sort of, I mean, like I said, I just paid attention. So over the years, I've seen so many people do it right or do it wrong, and I've remembered the why. Right. And also how improbable it is that anything works ever, and what an accomplishment it is to just pull it off. But where you need to fret, where you need to get crazy, what is not going to matter in the end, you know what I mean? That feels so important in the moment, but doesn't when you're actually editing. And
what are your choices production-wise? Because I was telling Kristian when we were watching the movie, I wish it was like VH1 pop-up video where we could know what cameras you use or what happened in post-production, because those shots, as much as Thailand is a beautiful place, it's still shot so well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, again, that's stacking the deck in your favor as much as possible. I got a DP, Patrick Ruth, who is addicted to beauty and completely understands the technology of cameras. And so we talked a lot about what emotions we were trying to convey, or what the tone of a scene would be, or how it would be paced. And then he would give me his best recommends, and he was always just on point.
And that conversation kind of comes out in the conversation between Brecken and Claire.
Don't you love that? So that's actually, I'd had this idea. I love when characters flirt about their special, their field of expertise.
Passions.
Well, I've seen a lot of nerds fall in love over a similar understanding of stuff that nobody else even has a reference point to. Yeah. And it's kind of like Shakespeare, where you can get a sense of what the emotion is, even if you don't understand the exact vocabulary. And so I'd had this idea about Brecken's character being a fashion photographer that was kind of significant, but also a little bit of a filmophile, and not a dick about it, but also like definitely knew that he knew what he was
knows
talking
his
about.
shit. Yeah.
Right. And so I loved the idea of Claire's character not being accessible. She's so beautiful, but she's not there for this guy to have a romance with. And so you come to understand that her life has been hardened by circumstance, and that all this is just what she puts up. And she doesn't have, in the description of it, I said blonde, magnetic, doesn't have time for your shit.
Right.
So you knew you were always putting your wife in it.
Oh yeah, no, I wrote
beginning.
that. I wrote that part for her. Well,
Yeah.
again, that's the thing. When you know you've got access to people that are great at it, you can just give them something great to work with, and then they'll make you look very smart by association.
And speaking of which, and this is where I got to get his opinion on this thing. You talk about passion together, because there's a scene that you have when you're in the bar, and I know that your passion for wrestling, and I know that what you've done in the wrestling community, and bringing Randy Orton in there.
Sure.
Because Dorina wasn't as familiar, but she's like, who is that? I was like, that's Randy Orton. She's like, you can tell he's a wrestler because he can act, to where as opposed to sometimes when you put athletes in there that aren't just for the, it doesn't always deliver.
Right.
But he delivered on it. But what I wanted to get your opinion on, and you'll appreciate this is, and I'll see if you recognize it. This was something that we do here. This is
You're like, what is he taking out?
What is this? Don't worry, we're filming.
Don't worry,
this, so
you're gonna like it.
everybody's
Everybody
gonna
can
be
see it. I'm
fine.
pulling
It's
it
a
out.
cat with its heart on the outside.
So this is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What did you make? What is?
So this is exactly how you recognize the design.
Of course. Yeah. But all of this,
all the stuff in between,
cinema
right?
stuff.
So we do this thing. It's the movie trivia schmodown, where it's essentially wrestling meets wrestling meets movie trivia.
Who commissioned this belt though?
Me.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, so that again, so because that's the old school Triple H type of design. So I figured you'd get a kick out of that. We'll show it to you.
The very first time that I got to really work directly with WWE, I was the first celebrity guest host of Monday Night Raw, and I'm in a 6-man tag team with John Cena and Triple H versus Randy Orton and the Legacy Cody Rhodes and the Young DiBiase.
Is that how you kind of formed a relationship with Randy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because Randy was not trying to be my buddy that night. And I think only after I survived a bump by him did he have even a modicum of respect for me. And then I brought the clip of us engaged in battle onto Conan, and everybody loved it. And so the next time I ran into him, I think it was at a WrestleMania, he was like, "Oh, thanks for bringing my clip on." I was like, "Well, thanks for not murdering me in the ring." And then just over time, we stayed in touch and sort of squashed our in-ring beef in favor of some offline friendship.
Well, those guys do that, man. They test you. I wrote for the WWE for a little bit, so like they test you. They test you. It's a circle in there, especially when you're coming in Hollywood too.
Exactly.
Yep.
That was the biggest thing. I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that I was, passionate about the brand, and that I really understood the obligation to the audience, and getting to be there in the mix. It is the most professional organization, the most well organized, and everybody, they perform in live shows for thousands of people, and that's significant. So everyone in that field that I've ever met, they are typically great on camera and take direction very well, and sort of intrinsically understand how tone works and how different mediums require a different level. And I wanted that guy to be a big guy. He needs to be intimidating, but he also needs to have a gravity. He needs to be able to convey any of the information that he does to be visibly assured.
Yeah, he reminded me. And did you write it for Randy? Did you know full well that you're going to put him in?
I didn't know it was going to be Randy. I knew it was going to be somebody big.
Okay,
yeah,
because he was like the Obi-Wan at one point, because you do that great switch where it's like you think you're going to get the shit beat out of you, and then he's like, shots, and then he just kept grabbing you, and I loved that relationship that he was just bringing you and like almost like shaking you out of it with like deep wisdom there, and he pulled it off perfectly.
Yeah,
I think so too. I love him.
Yeah,
it was also cool to see. I think my favorite part of the movie, other than it being a great tourism commercial for Thailand, because now I want to go. It basically every character that your character is dealing with has their own story and their own struggles about their life. So like, what made you want to write this particular story? Because it seems like it's a lot of the characters are dealing with, okay, am I supposed to choose a career and do what my parents want, or am I just going to live my life and actually live life, right? Like all the characters around your main character were kind of teaching you that, it seems like.
I'm glad. Thank you for even noticing that, because when you do anything, you have no idea if anyone's going to get any of it. I've essentially made this movie in a vacuum.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea. Brandon had spent his entire life observing other people, whether it's his parents or society in general, and he really followed a map that he thought was the best case scenario, and then finds himself in the middle of his life unhappy and facing circumstance that he never imagined. His wife having a lengthy affair, and all of his best planning resulting in nothing of value. And so I liked the idea of him getting to meet several characters along the way who, through completely different circumstance or different choices, are in the midst of living their own best life. I wanted to show other people who had figured it out, to both demonstrate that there's no single path to finding your own happiness, but also you can't follow anyone else's thing. You got to find what's right for you.
That's awesome.
The other thing Doreen and I were kind of geeking out over is that we're big music buffs, and the music in this movie, not only just the soundtrack itself, but the score.
Score is phenomenal,
and it's got to convey. You've got to feel for you when you come into you could feel like the sadness there, but you also feel like the bit of the hope inside of and choosing music. We had this whole argument on air the other day because of the new Terminator trailer came out, and they don't use the Brad Fiedel score at all. They don't use it once, and I'm such a stickler when it comes to that stuff. So how'd you go ahead and choose your score and your soundtrack, and is obviously as a director it's pretty important to you.
Yeah, had you met Patrick before?
Yeah, two different steps in that. So the first thing was the needle drop stuff, all the licensed music. Right. In a lot of cases, I wrote a scene around a particular song. Like I love the integration of pop music into cinema, and I grew up loving soundtracks from Stand By Me and Lost Boys to Garden State or Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like I love the way that music can not only be a powerful connective tissue to the emotional drama that you're creating, but also a separate experience that you have with the music itself. And so to that end, a lot of these are just songs I wanted to curate in a collection for an audience, but also that the scenes themselves were almost entirely dependent on. So in every one of the cases, the needle drop, except for 2 songs, I'd had the idea in mind in the beginning, and then was just lucky enough to be able to get the artists to agree to license them to us. Well, I had written that whole, because again, this was a trip that my buddy and I took in real life, and all of the insane things that happened, from us taking that speedboat to us arriving on that weird island and swinging on a swing together to us running through the rain-soaked streets of Koh Phi Phi. It was all things that I sort of felt and dealt with. And so that Lorde song, 400 Lux, I was like, if I don't have this song, I don't know what I'm going to do. And that Coldplay song, Rain of Love, which is actually just a tail end of Lovers in Japan and only on the long form release of it, I was like, I need this little lullaby to be the end of the movie. It is like the perfect, I don't know, sort of non-invasive support sentiment for everything the characters are dealing with, and I felt like it helps us get into the credits.
Well, once again, guys, the movie is called Changeland. It comes out today. Make sure that you check it out. It is limited in theaters, but you can get it everywhere else in your home.
That was actually the point. I wanted, both because of the way that I'm seeing movies a lot currently and the way I think a lot of people are just getting to budget their time, I wanted this to be accessible to people. As much as I want everyone to see it on a big screen, I think it's best in a theater with an audience. Yeah. I wanted this to be something that people could watch in their house, a vacation they could take from their couch, but also like something they could take a little bit of ownership of and keep in their pocket.
I think it's smart. I think it's smart now too because there's a lot to watch, but the other thing too, because you do want. So a lot of times now people are going to movies for the big spectacle movies, right? Too. We want. My wife and I are always. She doesn't get. We have 2 kids. She doesn't get a chance to go out to the movies as much. A movie like this, we can sit down, we can watch, we can enjoy it, we can just.
I realized I forgot something, and I didn't mean to overstep, but just because you mentioned Patrick, and then I didn't mention Patrick.
From Fall Out Boy, right?
So I loved Fall Out Boy right from Under the Cork Tree, and was lucky enough to meet those guys early on, and then we got to play around together in that movie Sex Drive. They showed up in that. And Patrick and I had talked a lot about him wanting to score cinema, and I had always thought if I had a movie, I would come to him first. And so when I finished this movie, I was like, I think just his understanding of composition and then just where his emotional access is, I really hoped that he would want to do it, and he loved the movie right away. And so we started talking about what movies had powerful orchestral cues. And I said I always loved John Williams in the way that he would create a specific refrain that was then emulated with all different instruments throughout the course of the movie.
Like a leitmotif, yeah.
Yeah, just
Sorry,
something
it's really nerdy.
Yeah, no, but exactly that. Something that feels it is all of the same message, even though it's just, with Indiana Jones, he'll do it with the flutes, or he'll do it with the big strings and the horns, and it's still the same refrain note, but it feels of the movie, and
like it becomes like a compliment to your characters and the emotions they're going through. It was great. The whole thing, the soundtrack and the score.
Thank you. I love him, and I'm so pleased with it. So I'll just say this: we're gonna put the soundtrack out digitally, both on like Spotify and iTunes and stuff that's free. But then I'm gonna put a vinyl out that won't be all of the needle drop, but it'll be the significant needle drop as well as his compositions.
That's
It just
awesome.
may be a down later.
Right.
I understand. But you mentioned
does
John
this-
Williams, and one of the things I got to ask you, because obviously Celebration just happened. They have the Rise of Skywalker title. First thing, you like the title? Yeah.
I'll wait and see.
See how it plays in.
I think any knee-jerk reaction to anything pop right now is kind of unwarranted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the more I've had specific reactions a year in advance of seeing how a casting choice affects the end product, I think it's unfair.
That's
so
fair. Yeah.
I've just backed off that a little bit.
What about story as far as Palpatine coming back? Because my thing was, I think it makes sense to the story. I think the fact that Plagueis says in Episode 3 that they mentioned Plagueis.
You call him Plagueis.
They mentioned Plagueis. They say that Plagueis could have him cheat death, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think he cheats death, and I think that's how it's going to play into it. I love that Palpatine's coming back.
Yeah. Let's find out, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely recognize that Star Wars is continuing to evolve for multiple generations, and that what was my childhood access portal is not going to be something that attracts a modern kid.
Right.
And each generation needs access to their own hero, and that's why this has continued to evolve. So I'll give them the chance to wrap it up before I really weigh in on how well they wrapped it up.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're
Well
not writing
said.
any petitions.
I honestly find that concept a little offensive. Like writing petitions to alter art or pop when your energy could actually be used. If you're going to mobilize a large group of people, it should be to affect actual change in the world,
Right.
Exactly.
not to just like complain about how somebody did or did not accomplish something to your satisfaction.
Right.
I agree.
And speaking of just making art, what does this project make you want to direct more movies?
Well, I've never been interested in being a director for hire. Like, I'm not gonna make somebody else's pilot unless I'm deeply in love with it. With this, I really feel like to direct a movie, to take it on, you gotta care so much. You gotta really believe that you're the only person that can translate it the way that you would. And there's been very few things that I responded to quite like that. Yeah. So it's not like I'm out trying to make myself a director now. I still think acting is my priority.
Yeah.
The thing I love the most.
Well, speaking of, there's been rumors and people have talked about it. I don't know if it's out there, but as far as Austin Powers, Mike Myers, and he was going to make he's making a run to come back. He was so great in Bohemian Rhapsody. And,
Oh, yeah.
Any talks or anything has been.
Every couple years I hear rumblings from some agent or somebody connected to it that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do something. But each time it just hasn't come to fruition. I love that there's still that much love and interest in that property. It was one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to be a part of. But there's no current
Not at the
active
moment.
plans. Yeah.
And can I ask really quick, because I'm a huge Buffy fan. Like I was obsessed with that show. I was in high school when it was on, so I love all the characters, obviously. Can you talk just about your experience, not just being on the show, but the fandom aspect of it? Like, do you still get everywhere? Like, do you get people yelling, "Hey, Oz"? Like, what is that like?
It's just situation specific. I've been lucky enough to be involved with a lot of different projects that gathered a large audience, and Buffy is something that I'm forever grateful to have been a part of. Both the opportunity to play a character like that, the time in my career I had never had. My peer group see me in a role that was like attractive or romantic, and so there's something great about that. And also to the wealth of writers that we had on that show. Everybody's gone off to do some of the most significant things in pop, and to get to have them put words in my mouth was thrilling. I know it's a privilege. So the fandom of it. People that love Buffy love it deeply, and I really am grateful for that. And what I've found now that, all the media is digital, I've gotten a lot of people who watched it in real time when they were young, sharing it with their kids, and their kids are reacting to it. So that's been really cool.
You mentioned when you were doing that match with Randy Orton, and you said Dustin Rhodes as well, right?
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, excuse me.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes. So then that's kind of where the question comes. Have you kept up any contact with him since?
With Cody?
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I'm at shows, I see him.
That's what he gets because he's a big he's a big Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
But also now he's got AEW.
That is the fun thing to discover with any of those cats is like how much they're all into the subculture stuff.
Dude, he is so into Star Wars. That's how kind of he and I started kind of going back and forth about it. But now AEW coming in. Do you think, because you remember back in the day, obviously the WCW and WWE war, and now they're thinking, because now the AEW just got this new deal with Time Warner. You think that they got a shot to compete with WWE?
It's going to be very difficult for anybody to actually compete with that, but I think they could easily own their own space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for everything, and I've noticed, as I'm sure everyone else has, you'll find a subgenre that has millions of dedicated fans, and nobody knows anything about it.
Right.
For the millions of people that are involved. I'll never forget, it's like 2 years ago I heard of BTS for the first time and discovered that they had cajillions of fans globally. And as it just sort of crosses its way into the U.S., everyone's like,
they don't know what it is.
I know.
They don't
Who are these kids?
Trust me. Yeah.
So
Now
I still like that.
There's K-pop conventions now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's YouTube influencer conventions. So, that's great. That's great that for anything that you would consider subgenre, there are millions of people dedicated to it.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having you in, man. It really was exciting to talk to you.
My pleasure.
And we look forward to having you on again.
Right on. I'm so glad you guys liked the movie.
The movie was phenomenal.
It's such a
Good.
vacuum about it.
It blew me away, I got to say.
thanks,
It
man.
hit me, especially what your character goes through with, realizing something's going on cheating-wise.
Yeah.
You hit something there that actually happened to me.
Oh, man.
And it just locked me in, so I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all really relatable stuff.
Yeah.
It's real. That's the
Very
and I
real.
think by putting in Brecken, you could tell you guys had that familiarity with each other. That the conversations, it wasn't because I didn't know going into what to expect as far as tone went.
Yeah.
Because I said to Riley, I said, "Is there heart?" And he was like, "There's a lot of heart."
Oh, boy.
And you see it. I mean, immediately the first scene, you know the tone of the movie, and I think that's always a sign of a good director writer, where it's like this is the tone, and it'll be consistent throughout the whole time. It never changes. Sometimes you get movies to where they don't know what tone they have, and it just kind of jumbles all over the place.
Yeah.
This wasn't that. From start to finish, it hits that, and it's painting this narrative of this relationship and journey, and kind of coming to terms with what you're going on in life. So thank you for doing that, sharing that story, and to let everybody know again today, Changeland. Make sure that you check it out. You can access it. You can watch it in your home. You can go see it. Check it out if you want to go watch it in the theater. See if it is in a theater near you. Seth Green, ladies and gentlemen, and if you steal the belt, I'm going to have to come find you.
No, we'll have a match for it.
I like it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you tomorrow on another episode of Collider Live.